Whether you're hiking or working, how do you know what to buy?
Let's talk about three different types of materials on socks. Number one, wool. Number two, synthetics. Wool socks, roughly 40 grams. What is the best sock? What do you need for materials? What do you need for fit, length, cushion, and all these different areas? So what I want to do today is just take a look at all these different variables so you can have the best sock when you're outdoors. So this will be a warmer sock with these bigger loops, but you can also see on this cotton sock here, the weaving and the loops are very, very tight. Here's a smart wool sock compared to a traditional wool sock. We live, work, and play in the great outdoors. You know what we need? We need to protect our feet. Or maybe it's hot outside and you need some thin, lightweight socks. What's the best sock for you? Hey there, outdoor enthusiasts. Welcome back to the channel. It is the season for socks. It's extremely cold outside. Well, today we're going to be diving into a topic that's often overlooked, outdoor socks. So we're going to be evaluating them on 5 key categories. Number 1, what kind of material? Very, very important. The fabric. Number 2, insulation and the cushioning. Number 3, how they fit. Number 4, their length. And number 5, their weight. So plus, we're going to highlight some pros and cons, top it off with some great reviews. So let's get started here today. How your foot is going to feel throughout the day. So let's talk about socks and its material, because the fabric is going to play an important role in just the comfort and the performance, whether you're hiking or outdoors or just spending time outside. Each material is going to have a different performance level. Number 1 is we have material and fabric of wool. Another one is just going to be the synthetic materials, and this consists of polyester, nylon, some of the spandex stretchability. But then you also have, an everyday sock like cotton. And so they all have different performance, durability, and all of these different materials.
Here's a really good brand, Darn Tough. They have a lifetime warranty and great materials. As we'll see here on the label, look at the wool content, 59%, 39% nylon.
Really, I think the number one consideration in picking out a good sock is you need to check out what the materials are. So I encourage you all, make sure you know what materials you are looking at. If you're gonna do a merino wool, I would suggest anywhere from 40 to 60%. The best thing about wool is it's gonna really control the temperature of your foot. And your foot is getting hot and sweats. This idea of having a wool sock has a lot of advantage. So consider how much percentage of merino wool is in each sock. Otherwise, you can look at synthetic materials like polyester and nylon. These materials are great for durability, and they do have some quick drying capabilities. Also, you might need some cool weather socks. So let's take a look, and you might be able to get them at the Man's Mall, Fleet Farm. Merino wool is also a favorite among hikers. It's soft, it reduces odor, it keeps your foot dry. Speaking of cotton socks, like an everyday sock like this is comfortable, but for everyday use, it just retains so much moisture. It's gonna hold in the sweat, it's gonna hold in the odors, any blisters, or you might just get a lot of discomfort over time as you're hiking and running and doing chores outside with a cotton sock like this. Well, let's talk about insulation and just cushioning for a moment. You can see some of these thin running socks. There's not much insulation or cushioning in these thinner socks. Here's another one that doesn't have very much cushioning. If you contrast that to one of these winter socks that has a lot of cushion, or even one like this, a wool sock that has, a lot of cushion here. Here's another thing to consider. As you look at and you turn the socks inside out, you can see the weaving as well as the loops. And so this is going to be a factor on both cushion and insulation. You can see these larger loops, bigger loops. It's going to cause more insulation, more air. Why would you want to consider the cushioning? Heavy cushioning is ideal for cold weather like these. This is a great cold weather sock, as well as this one, a great cold weather sock. As you can see, the thicker the cushioning, the more the insulation it's going to have. Also, light cushioning, these thin ones, they're suitable for warmer climates. And if it's a thinner sock and not as much cushioning, have a lot more breathability through it. It's not going to have the bulk factor. These socks here are going to be much better for a cold climate when you need that extra insulation. All right, now let's talk about length. So there is the no-show length socks, or also these ankle length socks, and those are great for low-cut shoes, casual activities. However, they might not protect against any debris out on a trail somewhere. You do have a crew length sock. They're a little bit longer, kind of in between these two. The crew length is a versatile choice that covers, it covers your ankle and part of the calf, and so you're going to get a little bit of protection and support over your ankles. Smart Wool, they do have a kind of an in-between right here in this sock, kind of in that crew length. And so you also have these longer length socks, whether it's that rides very high up on your leg, even up to a knee high. And these are going to provide the maximum amount of coverage and are often used in cold weather conditions. In specific sports, they're often added for warmth, but they can be used in mild weather too. But just remember that consideration for these socks, short, medium, all the way up to the long lengths. So weight is another crucial factor for your socks here. So just looking at these small ankle socks, 16 grams. Another hiking sock, Hiwithi, roughly 19 grams. If you get into some medium length wool socks, roughly 40 grams. Another Smart Wool sock, 43 grams. Here's a synthetic, 37 grams. And how about our big wool sock here? 74 grams. So as you're thinking about the weight on all these socks, whether it's lightweight, midweight, or even these heavyweight socks, because these heavyweight socks are designed for more cold environments, maximum warmth, cushioning, but they might be a little bit bulky. Whereas if you look for the lightweight socks, which is best known for its activities, breathability, and that's key. So consider a nice lightweight dry sock, and just balancing that through up into to the heavyweight socks. So let's talk about fit. So on a newer wool sock like this, you can see the size is much narrower. This over time, the fit is getting looser and looser and looser and wider, just because there is less nylon, there's less polyester, there's less spandex in here. If you look at this Smart Wool sock, this has shrunk in size a little bit, so it is a little bit more snug. It has a fit around the top here that has some good stretchability to it. More of this athletic hiking sock, really good, very, very springy on the fit here. So this is going to stretch around your foot, and it's going to thin out a little bit as you're wearing it. You can almost see through in that fit how it's much, much thinner there. Cotton. These have a pretty comfortable fit, just being the material being cotton. The wool, these have a long length fit over your ankles. So you're thinking about a compression fit. Socks with compression, they do provide some support. They can improve circulation. They could be good for long hikes, having a good compression fit. There is some just standard fit, and there's no excess fabric to prevent any bunching, but also avoid socks that are too tight. This is a nice fitting sock here. It is thicker, but the fit of it is pretty standard. There's no excess fabric. Sock like this, it's more of a synthetic, but it has a lot looser fit. This is a great one for just putting on your foot for doing chores, going out camping. You know, how much spandex, how it fits around your ankles, how it's gonna, you know, squeeze on your toe. I mean, just for comparison, as you look at how one would fit around your ankle, up on your calf, having the narrow fit, limited on its stretch, or something that's much more wider in its fit. So make sure that that's a factor in consideration on your sock, whether it's a short one or whether it's a long one. Again, the material is going to make the fit. How much cushion is going to make a factor in its fit. Let's say just avoid socks that are really too tight. You don't want to be restricted in your movement and cause any discomfort. You know, as you think about a sock like this is much thinner. There has a lot of stretch to it. So the fit is going to depend a lot on the material, whether it's 100% wool, 50% wool, how much spandex is in the material, but also how it fits into the toes. And so your fit is going to be a factor of how the seams look up on your toes as well. You don't want to have a big seam that you always have to be walking on top of. So make sure that you have a fit that has smooth seams as well.
Here's some good crew length socks, Realtree, Timberland, also just some good generic work socks. And here's a brand name Carhartt. You can see it's a heavyweight boot sock. A lot of acrylic in this one, not very much wool. And here's a different style of Carhartts, a little longer, a little less on the wool, down to 11%. Here are these Browning socks, again heavyweight, very similar to the Carhartts. A lot of acrylics, plastics, but low on the wool. As you shop around, watch for sales in the stores. I do like these Dickies. They have good comfort. Also, these are $1.99. I like the Darn Toughs for great quality. As you can see, the content of wool, the merino wool, is good. And with the lifetime guarantee, it's hard to beat that. You just take the sock back in and they will replace it for you. And if you're into fancy colors and aesthetics, there is some cool designs out there as well. And lastly, I did find these Ascend hiker socks. These look like a great sock that I'd like to try out.